First things first, what you need to do, instead of going 5 to 6 days a week to the gym, bro, and just training like kind of half-assed and not doing a bunch of junk volume, what you want to do instead is pick 3 to 4 days a week. Maybe you push-pull legs or upper lower, and actually hammer your muscles as hard as you possibly can. Give it your all on those workouts instead of just going 6 days a week, but those 6 days, you're tired, you're fatigued, you're not really giving your best. Instead of half-assing your training, full effort on those 3 to 4 sessions. Now, I personally do train 5 days a week, but I'm able to manage that high level of effort. So if you've been training for a minute, then yes, you can train 5 days a week. But if you're a beginner or you're super busy, 3 to 4 days a week is cool. Now, for progressive overload and actually building muscle so that you don't look skinny fat and you actually look pretty jacked and lean and fit, you want to be focusing on progressive overload, getting stronger week after week. So what does that look like? Let's say, for example, that this water bottle is a dumbbell and I'm doing bicep curls. Week 1, I'm going to do 3 sets of 10 reps with, say, 10 pounds. So 3 sets of 10 reps, 10 pounds. Next week, I'm going to either want to increase the weight or increase the sets or increase the reps. So that could mean 3 sets of 10 reps, but now it's 12 pounds instead of 10, or 3 sets of 8 reps, but now it's 12 pounds. Or I could do 3 sets of 10 with 10 pounds for 4 sets. So 4 sets by 10, keeping the weight the same because the volume is going up. And then let's say the week after that, instead of doing 3 sets of 10 with 10 pounds, I do 3 sets of 12 with 10 pounds, and then 3 sets of 15 with 12 pounds with 10 pounds, and then I up it again. So now I'm doing 3 sets of 8, but now it's 15 pounds. So every single week, the weight or the reps or the sets are slowly going up. And if you do that for all your movements, guaranteed you're going to be building muscle. And obviously, you want to start your workouts off with compound movements. Think for a push-pull leg split, bench press to hit your chest, shoulders, and triceps. You can have a pull day to hit your back and your biceps and your rear delts, and also leg day, and then a core day as well. So leg and core day to hit your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, your calves, and your core. And just like that, you're going to be getting stronger. But bench press or incline bench press, barbell row, or a squat and a squat, and get stronger on those compound lifts week after week. And if you focus on those, guaranteed you're going to be building muscle. So I really recommend that you track your lifts either on your notes app or on a spreadsheet as well. My clients use an app, so it's super, super easy. But if you don't have access to an app like that, track it in your notes. That's how I got started. Now, when it comes to nutrition, if you're looking to lose fat, you need to drop about 1 pound. Right now, let's say that we're 16. Let's say that we're about 15 weeks out. So you need to drop around 1.1 pounds of fat per week. So let's just round it down a bit and say, you used to lose 15 pounds in 15 weeks. That's 1 pound a week, and that's done by eating in a calorie deficit. So let's bust out some math real quick. All right, so quickly, if you guys know the math is, I'll give you guys the math. I don't know where my Sharpie is though. It's like we're gonna use red. All right, let me bring this a little closer. Thank you, Joseph, I appreciate you. All right, so in 1 pound of body fat, 3,500 calories, right? We want to lose that every single week. So that means 3,500 divided by 7, because 7 days equals 500 calories that we need to eat less under our maintenance. Quick note, if you don't know how many calories your maintenance is, your maintenance calories is basically how much food you need to eat every single day in order to keep your weight the same. If you want to lose fat, you need to eat less than that. And if you want to lose a pound of fat a week, 500 calories, less than that. So you can go to tdeecalculator.net and then type in your age, weight, height, and activity level, and it's going to spit out your maintenance calories. Go find that out, then come back, and then 500 calories below that. So that's how it's going to be. So say your maintenance calories is 2,500 minus 500 is going to be 2,000 calories a day. And if you eat 2,000 calories a day, if your maintenance is 2,500, you're going to lose a pound of fat a week. Now, say that you want to speed that up a bit, right? What you can do, because that's just creating a calorie deficit from food. And that's only actually one way to create a calorie deficit. Another way is actually also doing it from cardio. Now, obviously, I recommend that less because it's a lot easier to just eat, one cookie. It's just a lot easier to not eat one Subway cookie that's worth 200 calories versus, it's easier to put it down than run 30 minutes and burn 200 calories. So putting the cookie down usually is the easier option. But if you've got the discipline and you're already eating 500 calories left or calories less, then it's time to incorporate a bit of cardio. So what I recommend you do is 10K steps every single day. 10K steps is going to burn different amounts of calories for everyone, but let's say on average it burns, let's give it an extra, let's say 200 calories, right? A nice average 200 calories. So if you do that, plus your 500 calorie deficit, do not mind my writing, that's going to equal 700 calorie deficit. So that means you're going to be burning more than a pound of fat a week. You're going to be burning, let's say, 1.3 pounds of fat a week. And if you keep losing 1.3 pounds of fat every week in 15 weeks, even in 11 weeks, by summer, you're going to drop about 15 pounds. And that's 15 pounds of fat. It's not all going to come from the abs, but it's also going to come from the face. It's going to come from the love handles, the chest, the legs, all over your body, right? Unfortunately, you cannot spot reduce fat. I know it would be super nice. I wish I could just, lose all the fat in my midsection and keep all the fat on, say, my glutes, because, who cares? No one's looking. That's sad, though. So, yeah, the fat you lose is going to come from everywhere. Now, so let's talk about how to get your steps up, because it honestly is huge. So, for example, say you work an 8-hour shift, what you can do is walk on your break. Instead of just going on your phone and scrolling, go for a walk outside. A break is meant to be a break, not only for the mind, but also for the body, right? If you're just sitting the whole time, you might think, well, I'm sitting, it's a break. But in reality, that's actually very hard on your body, just sitting all day. So go outside and get a walk, get some vitamin D. You're going to feel awake after. You're going to feel so much better, more clear head, and you're going to burn some calories. So go for a walk on your break. Now, every hour, say you work an 8-hour shift, go for a 5-minute walk every 55 minutes. So 55 minutes of deep work, then 5 minutes walking around, refreshing, getting ready for that next 55-minute block. You're going to realize that you're more productive instead of just working 8 hours straight, but you're just doing random tasks like checking your email or doing things that aren't really moving the needle forward. If you come back from that 5-minute break, refresh and focus on what you need to do next, you're going to be so much more productive. So that's another way, walking on your break. Another way to burn or to just get more steps is parking farther away from where you're at. Say, instead of parking right next to the entrance of the grocery store, park farther away. So you have to walk maybe 2-3 minutes. That's an extra 300 steps on the way there, extra 300 steps on the way back. And if you do that over time, it's really going to amount. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Walk around in between your gym sets. That's a good one because you're already at the gym. You might as well pace a bit. Put your phone or your water bottle on the machine, walk around, come back, and then just like that, you've got an extra 100, 200, 300 steps. That's a cheat code. And that's what I have. That's what I have for walking on steps. Now, when it comes to improving your sleep, a big thing is trying to minimize how much food you're eating before bed. I'm sure we all know the feeling of having that food coma and then feeling sleepy, but that actually doesn't necessarily translate to getting good rest. What happens is, you're digesting during your sleep instead of resting. And then if you're digesting at the same time you're resting, your sleep quality lowers a bit, which is why you feel kind of crappy when you wake up. So what you need to do instead is eat 3 hours at the latest before bed, and then you're literally eating nothing for the 3 hours before you go to sleep. If you're starving, you can have a bit of a snack, right? I recommend maybe some vegetables because they're pretty light, but they'll keep you full. Or some protein, like some Greek yogurt, because the fat, or because the protein in the Greek yogurt, maybe protein with a casein blend. This is definitely getting more in depth, but that protein basically releases slower into the muscles, so you get more protein stimulus, or whatever it's called. You get more protein synthesis into the muscles while you sleep. I'm not a whole expert in like how the protein like releases into the muscle, but I do know for a fact that is how it works. But not to overcomplicate it or anything. 3 hours before you go to sleep, no more food, and 1 hour before you go to sleep, no more drinks. Just so you don't have to wake up in the middle of the night to use the washroom, so you get a better sleep quality. How many hours of sleep should you get every night? Ideally, at least 7. I know it can be hard for you guys. You guys are all working tough hours, seeing your friends, family gatherings, managing the gym, and so much else. But we do need to prioritize our sleep, because if we're running on fumes, our body is not going to want to let go of body fat. We're going to be stressed. We don't want to be stressed because our body isn't going to be building muscle as good as it could be. We're not going to be in the best mindset, and we're also not going to be burning as much belly fat. So we need to get good sleep so that we're not stressed. Lower our cortisol, basically the stress hormone, which you can say. And obviously when you get better sleep, better testosterone, you're going to be building muscle better and losing fat more efficiently. So 7 hours of sleep a night, that looks like actually 8 hours lying down in bed, because we all know like it may take a couple minutes to drift off. Maybe we wake up in the middle of the night, and 8 hours in bed equates to 7 hours of actual sleep. So that's a huge one. And of course, another tip I can give you on sleep is just don't go on your phone 1 hour before bed, just because like that blue light that's going to your eyes, it's kind of disrupting your melatonin production, which basically that means it's going to be harder for you to fall asleep. We all know those times where we're lying down on our phone or lying down on our bed with our eyes closed. We feel physically tired, but we're still wired in our head because we have that blue light, because we've got bright lights like shining on us just until we go to sleep. It makes it very difficult to go to sleep. Same with Netflix. And lastly, you need to be consistent. You can do the first 4 for however long you want. Well, you can do the first 4 for, let's say, 2 weeks, and you might not see any progress. You didn't gain the love handles from 1 week. You gained them over time, sitting in the office for months, not being active outside for months. Like maybe last time you played sports was university or even high school, and your activity level has gone so much down because you're not walking all over campus, you're not having PE class anymore, and you just sit down, you gain that freshman 15. So you're going to be consistent for more than a week, since it took you probably a couple of years or a couple of months to gain the body fat. So how consistent and how long should you be doing this for? Highly recommend that you're consistent for at least 16 weeks. And why do I say 16 weeks? Because that's a very good time frame to actually see good results, make like loosen love handles, and also, tweak mistakes, right? Say that you just go balls to the wall for 30 days. That's not a lot of time to fix your mistakes. But if you give yourself more time, you have more chances, more at-bats to fix your mistakes, fix your eating habits, improve your training, improve your sleep, and just get back on the wagon. So that's what I have for you guys. Now, this live didn't go for that long, so I'm actually going to keep diving more into nutrition because I feel like it's so important, and I didn't really cover it enough. So let me do that. And then I'll talk for the next 5 minutes, give you all the sauce, and then leave your questions in the comments, and I'll get back to you, and I'll answer them on this live after I break down nutrition. Real quick, there's my other Sharpie. I was filming a bunch of these videos before because they've been doing really, really good, and they've been getting good engagement. A lot of people see one of the videos got 200 something saves, so I know that it's valuable. So my job is just to put out as much valuable content as possible. And if you guys are on the live right now, I'll give you a quick hint. Right here we got this. Right, look at this. We have 48 packs of Diet Coke. A crazy video is coming soon. Crazy video is coming soon. I cannot wait to drop that one. It's going to be huge. So that's that. All right. So when it comes to nutrition, right, we already know that we're eating. Okay, so let's say your maintenance is 2,500. Goodbye. All right. Let's say your maintenance calories, right? Because you found it on TDEE calculator. This is probably the most important part of the live. So let's say your maintenance M is 2,500. To be in a calorie deficit, you need to minus 500. So now, your daily calories for the day, 2,000. Now that's just your calories. If you eat less calories, you'll lose weight. But macro distribution, aka proteins, like your meats, carbs, like your fruit and your vegetables and your oats and your grains and your rice, and your pasta, of course, that's carbs. And then your fats, like your butters, your olive oils, peanut butter, and like fat in meats as well. Those are fats. So your macro distribution needs to be on point as well. If you do not get enough protein, you're gonna lose weight. But if you do get enough protein with weight training, you're gonna lose fat while building muscle. That's obviously what we wanna do because that's gonna allow us to look the best. So, of your 2,000 calories, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So let's say that you weigh 170 pounds. That means 170 grams of protein every day. And when it comes to carbs and fats, it really isn't as important as protein. It's still good to have a rough estimate, but it doesn't need to be an exact number like this. I would never get less than 160 grams a day if I weighed 170 pounds, just because I want to maximize the effect of protein. Protein doesn't just help with building muscle, but it also keeps you full and plenty of other benefits like skin, nails, hair, and all that. You want to be getting enough protein to be an overall healthy person, an overall healthy dude. So, 170 grams of protein, and you can get that through meals like, Greek yogurt with a scoop of protein powder in the morning. Like, that's a good meal. 200 grams of eggs, 200 grams of egg whites, 2 eggs, that's another about 30 grams of protein, super, super solid. And then another meal could be like a nice chicken rice, or, have some salmon and some baked potatoes, protein bar, protein shake, so many combinations, literally so many combinations. So that's how you get your protein in. Maybe 3 or 4 equal meals. I'm currently eating 4 right now because that's how I'm being the most full. And that's how you get your protein. For carbs and fats, let's say carbs are, 35% of your total calories, and fats are about 30% of your total calories, right? This doesn't matter as much as long as you are getting your protein goal in, and then as long as it's around these numbers, you're gonna be good, right? Carbs are super important for energy levels, right? If you get no carbs, if you tried keto and you only stuck with it for 2 weeks, you probably stopped because you felt absolutely miserable because you didn't get any carbs, aka your body didn't get any energy. But you didn't feel energized after 2 weeks because your body wasn't yet adapted to you getting no carbs. Also, like, our brain uses the majority of our carbs that we eat, just because it's always running, always thinking. So that's probably also why you felt sluggish. And then when it comes to fats, super important for us men for like that hormone health, aka like testosterone. If your fats are to the ground, you see this all the time with, say, bodybuilding competitors, right? If you don't compete, like I don't compete, but you see this all the time. Like these bodybuilders, they have to go on TRT after their shows because they crash their testosterone by getting so lean, by having so little fats in their diets, just to get as lean as possible. It's not healthy, but they do it for the look, right? And I can understand doing it for the look, but overall health, like, we're not talking about getting stage lean. We're talking about feeling good enough to take our shirt off and maybe seeing a bit of ab definition. That's what we're working towards. So we can have enough fats in our diet. So that is your nutrition, and that's how your food should be broken up. So again, foods like meat, Greek yogurt, eggs, protein powder, Greek yogurt, like that's majority of my diet for protein. For carbs, I have a lot of fruits and vegetables because they're super low calorie and they're very filling. I have barely any rice on my cut. I actually switched to potatoes because they have more fiber. Fiber is another nutrient. You should be getting around maybe 12 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories you eat. So if you eat 2,000 calories, 24 grams of fiber or more, there's really not a downside to getting a little more than that. It's just going to help you stay more full. So that's also huge. And then potatoes, which are super solid. Sweet potatoes, your grains, your vegetables. I don't have too much bread. Maybe some low-calorie tortillas, but mostly that. And then when it comes to your fat sources, I'm getting my fat mostly through either it's a bit of 5 grams of butter in the morning on my eggs, and then some fat on the ground beef that I eat, maybe a bit of light mayonnaise that I have in my burger sauce, and then some eggs in the morning, and then some peanut butter, and that's the majority of it. Maybe a bit of olive oil if I'm cooking with that, but I'm definitely minimizing the olive oil since it's very high calorie and it's only like 100 calories. It's literally just a little spoon, so that's not really ideal. So last thing I'm going to go over is how do you stay full? Literally the golden question when trying to lose weight. Everyone thinks that when they lose weight, they're going to be hungry. Let me tell you right now that I've been cutting down for the last, I think, 3 weeks now, and I've barely been hungry, but I'm still getting leaner. I noticed like big thing, like my legs have gotten leaner, and also even my face a bit. Like the bloating has gone down, but I haven't been hungry. So how am I managing this? Let me give you the exact framework. So I wake up at 5:30, and I do not eat until 8:30. So that's the first 3 hours of my day where I'm not eating. But what am I doing? I'm still consuming beverages. What I do in the morning is, and I'm going to try to get better at this as well, but I have about 20 ounces of water, which is half this huge hydro flask, or it's actually a thermo flask, with a couple cracks of pink Himalayan sea salt. Why do I do the sea salt? Isn't sodium bad for you? No, it's actually great for you. Like, we have a ton of sodium and potassium in our system. It's called electrolytes. You might feel thirsty or hungry because you're not getting adequate electrolytes into your system. So in the morning, glass of water, a couple cracks of sea salt, that's going to allow you to be hydrated, and actually going to realize, it's going to make you realize that you were just dehydrated, not actually hungry. So that gets me from, say, 5:30 all the way to 7 just drinking water. And then an hour and a half after I wake up, then I have some coffee with a bit of almond milk. So it's not like I'm completely fasting or anything like that. Like I'm not gonna dive into fasting, but essentially like it's not fasting, not eating until like 12 p.m. that burns the calories. It's just reducing your overall caloric intake by just shutting down your eating window a little bit. So you just eat less and burn more fat because you're only eating for like a set amount of hours, not because you're not eating for the first 5 hours of the day. Like fasting like that, it's not how we lose the fat. So that's that. And you can fact if you don't believe me, you can fact check me on Andrew Huberman. But that guy, I've learned my stuff from the scientist. So that's that. And then 7 o'clock is when I have a cup of coffee with some almond milk. It literally is like maybe 10 calories. And then that caffeine is a appetite suppressant. So then I'm not hungry till 8:30. 8:30 in the morning, I'm having a bunch of protein. I'm having at least 40 grams of protein at 8:30 because protein is super satiating. So what I've been recently having is a high protein, high fat breakfast, and I'm actually pushing carbs later into the day. I'll get into that later. But essentially, I have 4 eggs with a bit of cheese and some butter, and then a bit of ketchup. There's a bit of carbs in there, and that's fine. That keeps me full until 11:30. Like I'm genuinely not hungry because I've got so much protein in before 10 a.m. and I've got healthy fats. And healthy fats are satiating. They do keep you full. So 4 eggs, a bit of cheese and some butter, ketchup, and then another cup of coffee, more water. You can even add vegetables too because it's low carb, and I'll get into that in a bit, but that's going to keep you full. Now, why do I have lower carb breakfast? I feel like I focus better, right? I do majority of my work writing content, getting back to clients, scripting, blah, 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 creating programs in the morning. And that's when I want to be the most focused. I found for myself, and this might not be everyone, but after eating a bunch of carbs, like a very carb heavy meal, I don't feel as focused. And I feel like I'm digesting that and whatnot. And I love carbs to death. Do not get me wrong. I love carbs to death, and I just had like a higher carb meal. But that being said, in the morning, I feel like I just operate better on a lighter meal, higher fat, higher protein. Then at about 11:30, 3 hours out, 2 hours out for my workout, that's when I introduce my carbs more. And that's because we only have so many carbs when we're losing fat, because if you want to drop your calories, most of it should be dropping from carbs, just because they are the least important, right? You need protein to keep your muscle growth on. You need fats to keep your hormones up. But if you like, the only thing that we can kind of drop is our carbs. So I drop the carbs, and I save that around my pre and post workout. So 11:30, I'm having a Greek yogurt bowl, protein powder, fruit, another high protein meal. In between that, if I feel hungry, a diet drink, and that goes for literally every single thing. If I feel hungry between a meal, I'll have a bunch of water, I'll have a diet drink, like a Diet Coke, or maybe I'll have some tea. And that's how you get through the cut. And then making sure to eat a bunch of high volume, low calorie foods. For example, vegetables. Like, you can eat a ton of lettuce and feel full, but have calories be only like 50 calories consumed. So that's another thing that you could do. And then lastly, like, always staying hydrated. And that's actually, no, my last tip is going to be always being busy, right? What I like to do is 2 hours before my workout is my last meal. I don't know why it's not running anymore. I hope it's not dead. 2 hours before my last meal, 2 hours before I work out, I eat, then I wait 2 hours to train, so I'm training more on like a somewhat empty stomach, and then I train for like an hour, and then I come home, and then I wait and I shower. So that's like 5 hours where I'm not eating. So that's literally, that brings me to like, say, 4 p.m., and I still have another 2 meals left. And it's 4 p.m. So I eat at 4, then I eat at 6, and then I sleep at 8 o'clock. So I'm never hungry. That's how you do it. So I'm gonna answer some Q&A questions right now. Then I do have to jump on a call. So that's that. Everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I will be uploading this. Yeah, so that's that.